today's program, I'm pleased to visit an old friend, Russ Kendzior, who's the chairman and founder of the National Floor Safety Institute, or NFSI. Russ and I go way back, I don't know, 20 years. Some expo somewhere we were at that Russ was talking about slip and fall. Hi, Russ.
Hi, Jeff. Good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you. I'm glad we're connecting here today. The NFSI, an important organization when we think about the safety aspect of floors, and with ISSA and our members, cleaning floors, maintaining floors, easy way to see how we can work together. But tell us, how has the NFSI been doing in the past few years, and how do we fit together?
Well, we've been doing great. In fact, this is our 25th anniversary. The NFSI has been around since 1997, and actually, the ISSA was one of the founders of the NFSI. You were a founding board member of our organization. Today, you still remain on our board, as well as the IEHA, and so we've always had a very close relationship with ISSA. I've attended, as you noted, many of the seminars. I've spoken at the ISSA convention many times, and we've always enjoyed our relationship with the ISSA, and have been very fortunate to have a lot of your members become members of our organization in the past 25 years.
Now, let's talk about slip and fall and what you folks do and the cleaning industry. I assume slip and fall is still a big issue. It's in your logo. I see the little man falling there. And off camera, you were mentioning the Bob Saget episode. How much should we know about this?
Well, slips, trips, and falls are really what we address. In fact, our mission is to aid in the prevention of slips, trips, and falls through three channels: research, education, and standards development. And when we first started, we didn't really have all three of those missions. Today we do. And you mentioned Bob Saget. Sadly, when a celebrity becomes injured or gets hurt or dies as a result of a slip and fall or a trip and fall, it'll make the news. But what's interesting, Jeff, is the celebrity's death is what everyone focuses on, and rarely does anybody talk about how they died. Now, Alec Baldwin is a little bit different. Everybody's talking about what he did, as far as his accidental shooting, discharge of that firearm. But with Bob Saget, it's a little bit different story. We were discussing this earlier about the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission just published some updated data. Remember, this is always lagging by a year, so this goes back to 2020, even though it came out in 2021, that identifies floors as the most dangerous product in a home, meaning more people will get hurt as a result of a fall on a floor than any other consumable product. And right behind that, listed as number 4, was bathtubs and showers. Well, both of those areas directly impact your members. Why? Because they're manufacturing, producing products and services that address cleaning of floors and bathtubs. So by not properly cleaning a bathtub or floor, as it relates specifically to safety, can oftentimes cause not only a lot of injuries, but fatalities. In fact, the estimate from the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission and CDC, Centers for Disease Control, estimates that over 7 million people will seek emergency room treatment this year for a fall, of which over 36,000, Jeff, will die. I mean, a lot of people die as a result of a fall. Many of them are elderly. Many of them are at home. Not everybody's slipping and falling at their local grocery store, but rather getting hurt in their homes, slipping and tripping in their homes. And so it's a big problem, specifically as it relates to the elderly. The leading cause of accidental death for people over the age of 70 is a slip and fall or a trip and fall. And so, here we are. You mentioned we've known each other for 20 years. We're now, approaching that baby boomer, retirement. And, baby boomers, which I'm one, they're retiring at a rate of 10,000 a day. And so knowing that they're the most likely victim of a fall, and by the way, they shop a lot. They're outside. They're in restaurants. They're out and about on commercial floors. And knowing that they're the most likely risk of injury to that demographic age group is a slip and fall, it's just that much more important today that it be addressed.
Can you talk about the testing and certification you're involved with that could benefit the cleaning industry? Because you mentioned the manufacturing side, but also we have our cleaning companies, our facilities. What can you do for them?
Well, first of all, most of the folks that are connected to ISSA kind of get it. They know what's going on. They understand that their job, their role, the products that they'll manufacture do contribute to the slip and fall problem, many of which have engineered their product line to prevent or make floors safer. And so, what we've seen from the ISSA and really just your industry as a whole is most of the folks get it. In fact, if you look at the list of products that NFSI has certified in the past 20 years or so since we've been doing that, most of which are floor mats, floor cleaners, cleaning equipment, auto scrubbers. And so I think today we have over 600 or 700 NFSI certified products. When you go to the ISSA convention, you walk down the aisles and you see the NFSI certified logo quite a bit. I mean, a lot of companies get it, but others don't. And in fairness, a lot of the manufacturers of finishes, that sort of thing, are kind of reluctant. And I understand why. I mean, they're concerned about liability and you got to be careful. But on the other hand, if you have a customer that is experiencing risk of a slip and fall, needs to be addressed. And the best person to address it, frankly, Jeff, are the people on the front line, the people on the floor. The janitorial and cleaning industry is front and center on this issue. And so assuming that leadership role can really carry a lot of credibility in the marketplace, it also helps, aside from preventing injuries, it reduces insurance costs, which, as we all know, is constantly going up. The cost of injuries are very, very high. In fact, it's estimated that as a nation, we'll spend over $150 billion this year on slips and falls. That's claims, losses, Medicare, Medicaid, lawsuits, very, very expensive. And so if you really want to cut costs, prevent injuries, because the injury that didn't happen doesn't turn into a claim and doesn't turn into a lawsuit.
We all want to avoid the lawsuit and the lawyers and the judges, but obviously you're involved in litigation, no doubt as an expert witness. When you're called in to testify, to get involved, what do they want you to look for? Is it fault of manufacturing or cleaning or conditions? Anything you could point to?
Yeah, it's kind of all the above. I've been retained since, I guess, 1990, mid 1990s as an expert witness, Jeff, in over 1,100 cases, all of which are slips and trips. That's all I do, representing both plaintiffs and defendants. So I've kind of seen it all. I get calls every day from an attorney needing some advice. Sometimes I can help them. Other times I'll direct them to somebody else or just tell them they don't have a case. But what happens is the injured party is usually forced to file a lawsuit. That most people, Jeff, don't want to file a lawsuit. They don't want to do that, but they have really big medical bills. Say, for example, you were to slip and fall at a big box retail store, and you're elderly, and you break a hip or you have a head injury. It's not unexpected to see medical costs over $200,000, maybe more, and so most insurance companies won't pay that total bill. Medicare, Medicaid gets involved if you're that old, and so they're forced to file a lawsuit because they have big medical expenses that they can't afford to pay. And so the minute that happens, everybody becomes a potential target, meaning everyone that's connected to the maintenance of the floor. If it's a trip and fall, say on a floor mat, oftentimes the floor mat industry will be dragged into the litigation, the property owner, the janitorial people, the maintenance people. And it becomes kind of everybody points the finger at everybody else. But at the end of the day, it costs everyone. And Jeff, there's no real winner in a slip and fall or trip and fall lawsuit. It's just a series of losers. Who loses more? Is it the property owner, the janitorial company, the insurance industry, or the plaintiff, the person who fell? Because many times the plaintiff will die. There's no winning there. In fact, if you look at all the NFSI B101 series of standards that we have been publishing for, I guess, 2 decades now, they're all dedicated to an individual. I remind the committee that develops the standards that our work is all about prevention. It's about preventing people from getting hurt. I'm not a plaintiff advocate, Jeff. I'm not a defense advocate. I'm an advocate for pedestrian safety. It's about keeping people safe. And so if you read all of our standards, they're all dedicated to a person who lost their life as a result of a slip and fall or a trip and fall. And that's just a reminder to the committee that we're here not to protect or attack industry. We're here to protect people from the risk of injury and a fatality.
All right, good stuff. Maybe to wrap up, what can NFSI and ISSA do for their respective members? Any thoughts there? And of course, we're going to do more of these recordings, so lots of topics to dig into. But what do you think?
You guys are on the ground level here, no pun intended. But ISSA members, manufacturers of cleaning products, floor finishes, floor matting, auto scrubbers, kind of go down the list. They're on the front line of safety. Many of them know that. They just don't know how to position themselves for that. But if you go to our website or even our board of directors, you look at companies like Cintas, Mountville Mills, that serves on our board of directors, or Newpig. They all engineer products specifically to prevent slips, trips, and falls. And their level of commitment speaks for itself. They've served on the NFSI board for many, many years, and they're also actively involved with the ISSA. So to answer your question, we need to work together because we're all working towards the same goal, and that is to elevate floor care or floor maintenance to floor safety. Making floors safe means you made it clean. And so I look forward to doing more of these types of interviews with you and your members to help guide them and really demystify what's going on. You see, most slips, trips, and falls, Jeff, can be prevented. They're not hard. It just takes commitment, it takes focus, and it takes understanding. That means training, awareness, that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, we'll all win. We'll all win.
We will. And I know you and I have discussed that getting past just appearance cleaning is so important. And this is one great way to raise the awareness of cleaning and maintenance and materials. So thank you, Russ, for your time today.
You're welcome, Jeff.